Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, she's a national expert in workplace culture and helps create rock star leaders. Her incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I like to call my workplace a thank God it's Monday workplace, and I don't say that facetiously. It's a very happy company. One of the favorite sounds I hear all day is employees gathering together laughing over the lunch hour, and it's music to my ears. But it hasn't always been that way. In my 16 years, there's been times when the company was in a funk, and it was a mix of problems, hiring the wrong people, and so to get the right ingredients for the recipe of workplace culture is critical to the life of any successful company. That's why I can't think of a better person to invite on the show than Dr. Julia Wiener. She is an organizational culture expert and strategist, and my friend. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. I am so excited to be here.
So do you remember first getting interested in how organizations work and what makes the great ones tick?
Yes, yeah. I'm actually reminded of a story as a young child. My mom was a single working mom, and she would take me to a thrift store, a very nice thrift store, to buy things for school plays and pageants and things like that. And we loved this store. We would go as a treat. And one day we went and the store was closed, or they were about to close. They were going out of business. And I just couldn't understand why. It was a store that we had frequented. Our friends and family had frequented the store. And my mom, who worked in a deli and didn't have much business experience, but she explained to me that sometimes workplaces just don't work out and businesses fail. And, there are financial issues in businesses. And my little 8 or 9-year-old brain just couldn't imagine that people had a choice in what they do and that they get to make the decision on where they get to come to work every day. And so I said to myself, I am going to figure out how to keep the store open. And I did not figure out how to keep that store open, but what I did was figure out how to create cultures and businesses where people thrive and where they want to come to work every day.
We're going to pull up her website, and as we scroll down the website, let's talk about the clients that you like to work with.
Yeah. So the client, I work with two different sets of clients. My individual clients those are who I call my executive coaching clients. Those are people that I work with one-on-one, usually in the C-suite or those rising executives. We'll work together on leadership development. We'll work on getting ready for a big meeting or just a lot of the conscious leadership things that leaders need to know leading now in 2025. And the second set of people that I work with are our organizations, larger groups of people. I do employee engagement surveys, 360-degree reviews for people. I lead workshops and offsites. And whenever it comes to a larger organization, I'll look at culture as a whole versus working with the individual.
And one of the things I think that is very common in America is you have this great rock star salesperson and you promote him or her to sales manager. Completely different skill set.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is exactly the kind of individual leader that I'll work with. I'll see that as an issue, kind of organizational wide, but then I'll work with that leader who has been great, when it comes to that technical skill of sales or finance, but then they've been promoted to leader, and now that's an entirely different skill set, and it always helps to have a coach, especially an external one, that can come alongside and and guide you into those areas of improvement.
I have to imagine you have a certain bedside manner because you're coming into an organization, you're the stranger, and so you have to first understand, if this company is sick, what is the diagnosis and how do we get to the root of the problem? And sometimes the problem could be the CEO or owner of the company. So you have to have a certain finesse to be able to diagnose and then tell the CEO, oh, by the way, you're the problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is very difficult. And it also can be done. Like you said, Jeff, having that bedside manner and that finesse is part of what makes my organization and myself special is I'm able to go in and talk to CEOs and CFOs, not in a way that creates defensiveness, but in a way that allows us to work together to create what they want, which is a thriving organization.
Yes. And as I was doing research for the show, I found an amazing article. I think it just came out a week or so ago. Mm-hmm. We're going to pull it up on the screen. And I love it because you tell your story in here, and there's lots of nuances to your story. And I think if anybody's interested, they could go to the magazine, which is Bold Journey, to read more. But I think you also have the heart of a teacher, don't you? Do you enjoy educating people?
I do. Yeah. It's whenever I was a kid. Again, a lot of these things come from my childhood. Whenever I was a kid, an only child up until I was about 16 years old, my stuffed animals were my class, and so I would set them up in a row and teach them all about the things they needed to know. Everything that I had learned at school that day, I would come and reteach it to my stuffed animals. And my mom would say, Julia's holding class right now. She can't come out. But yeah, I am a teacher at heart and love giving back to my community in that way.
That's a beautiful story. I also found on her YouTube channel just dozens and dozens of wonderful testimonials. Let's go ahead and roll one now.
I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Julia Wiener when she facilitated a 2-day intensive offsite training for our senior leadership team. I've been in senior leadership roles for 20 plus years, but in just 2 short days, her sessions helped me identify what's good, what needs work, and most importantly, a path forward with actionable steps. We were able to drill down into our own personal EQ profiles, and those are very telling. We figured out areas we're succeeding in, areas that need to be addressed, and then we applied those lessons specifically to our own personal leadership styles. Arguably the most important piece was then bringing it all together and developing an actionable plan for how we're going to lead our teams better and more effectively with commitments to one another. So just wanted to hop on here and say thank you to Dr. Wiener for helping us communicate more effectively and lead with more clarity here at our law firm. Thanks, Doctor.
And I know you've helped countless companies and individuals. What's one of your favorite client success stories?
Oh, one of my favorite success stories is our own company that my husband and I founded and eventually sold to a Fortune 500 company. But we had a group of people that we considered second chancers. These are people that had backgrounds that weren't traditional. They had been in various difficulties with law. Some of them had abuse issues that they were coming out of, and we withheld a few jobs for those people to make sure that they had an opportunity to get a second chance. And with that also came promotions, like we talked about a little earlier. They were doing really well at their jobs, and we needed to promote them and reward them for that good work. But a lot of them didn't have the leadership skills that they needed to actually lead other people. So I created this program called the Emerging Leaders Program within that organization and put them through a 6-month leadership intensive. And before we knew it, these people were climbing out of that program and leading teams. Like I said, we were eventually sold to a Fortune 500 company. And one of the things that made us so attractive was our culture. And our culture was made up of a lot of people who were given a second chance.
Wow, beautiful story. And obviously you can engage Dr. Julia in many different ways. You can hire her to come in to speak to your organization, to train your C-suite. But they can also very soon get you digitally.
Absolutely. I am so excited about that. We are going to be launching digital courses this year. A lot of times people are told, well, we need a culture of innovation, or we need a culture of transformation. And although that is a very few words, it is a huge idea. And so what I'm going to be doing with my team is creating courses, little short courses that you can go in and say, okay, how do I do that? What are the actual steps to create a culture of innovation or of transformation? And we'll have a podcast and white papers that go along with those mini courses. I just can't wait. I'm so excited about that.
Okay, we only have a minute left, so look into that camera on the left and talk to that CEO who might be struggling and saying, I think I might need to bring Dr. Julia in.
Yes, thank you. You are not alone. You are right where you need to be. Help is on the way. So I understand that you have a lot of things going on and that you want to get to that next goal, the next Q2, Q3 goals. In order for you to get there, you've got to have a great team and a great culture built around those strategies. So I can come in and help you build that strategy, put it down on paper, create a transformational experience for your team, and make those transformations an actual reality.
Outstanding. Great way to leave the show. We're also going to leave you with her website, which is jwstrategies.com. The great Dr. Julia. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet.
Pleasure.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.